everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are going to be doing an anti-haul. This is my first one here on my channel, so bear with me. So recently I've been binge watching these videos here on YouTube from people that I follow, and at first I was very against filming this type of video, to be honest with you, because the way I perceived it was, how can somebody sit down and talk so negatively about products they haven't even tried? But then after like thinking about it, I've realized that, you know, today you're able to watch reviews and make conclusions about items, and a lot of times it's not actually because the product's bad, it's just for another reason, one or another. So I've decided that I do want to film this video here on my channel, so that's what we're going to be doing today. Now, if you guys have tried any of these items that I'm about to mention and you do love them, I'm by no means saying, you know, go out and return it or anything like that. Like, obviously, if you love it, that's awesome, great, I'm happy for you guys. Maybe let me know why you like it so much, then maybe I'll reconsider. But based off of what I already know about these items, based off of maybe possible reviews I've seen and whatnot, I've just kind of decided these are items that I'm just not going to be investing in my collection. As you can see, I have my laptop over here to the side. I basically just have Sephora open, and I have a cart full of items that I wanted to mention in this video, so I am going to kind of be looking over here and there. If you see me looking over, that's why. So starting off with the first item is actually from Nars. It is their new liquid blushes, and I've seen a lot of hype over these, and I know there's a lot going on with Nars right now because I'm pretty sure they used to be cruelty-free and now they're not, if I'm not mistaken. But besides the controversy, the product itself doesn't really appeal to me personally. I don't think it's anything new and special. I mean, cream blushes have been around for quite some time now. I still have one from when I first started wearing makeup from NYX, and cream just does not work best on my skin type. I'm super oily. Creams are just kind of a disaster for me, so I try to stay away from them. And I actually personally don't even own a Nars blush in the first place, like not even one of their powder blushes, which is what they're kind of known for. So I don't really see myself investing in their cream blush if I haven't even tried their powder blush. So that's kind of where I stand with the cream blush thing. Plus, I was watching some swatches and they're super pigmented, and that's another thing that I really don't understand. Like, for me, I don't like a really super pigmented blush. I like it to be very natural looking, like it's coming from within my skin. Can we also mention how they're $30 per blush? That's super expensive. I mean, I'm pretty sure their powder blushes are too, but at least I'd get a lot more use out of a powder. A cream, I just don't see myself using it that often. I feel like it's a little bit more high maintenance in my opinion when it comes to applying it and whatnot, so I just don't foresee myself spending $30 on it. Okay, so the next thing that I definitely won't be purchasing is the Huda Beauty limited edition rose gold palette, I believe it's called. And I don't know if this is the first one or not. I honestly am a little like not up to date, but I saw it on the Sephora website and it does look really pretty, guys, but it doesn't look like anything special in my opinion. And I have seen a couple of the reviews on the palette. I'm not sure if it's actually this one or if it's a different one, but I heard that the pigmentation and blendability just wasn't that great. It wasn't up to par with some eyeshadows that are currently on the market. The $65 price tag is pretty high for this palette in my opinion, so I just think that it's a little overrated. Obviously, you know, there is somebody behind this item, so that's why it is priced where it's at, but I just think it's a little bit too expensive. And those foiled eyeshadows in there, although they look really pretty, it's just not something that I wear day to day, so I wouldn't get a lot of use out of it, so for that reason, I'm just not that interested. So the next product is also from Huda Beauty. I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly, but it's their 3D highlighter palette, and it is the Gold Sand edition, I believe. I'm not sure if that's the color or what. I think there's actually different shades if I'm not mistaken, but it basically comes with 4 highlighters. One of them looks to me like it's a blush if I'm not mistaken, so that kind of threw me off a little bit. But this is a $45 palette. To me, the price isn't what's throwing me off because I do own the Anastasia Glow Kit, and this was $40, and you do get 4 pans of highlighter as well. So the price, in my opinion, isn't priced poorly by any means. It's just something that's not really new to the market. It's not something I haven't seen before. Like I said, I already have the Anastasia palette, and it just doesn't look that unique. And honestly, I mean, I can't tell if that's a blush or whatnot or what. And then it looks like there's a really bronzy shade next to it that I couldn't wear as a highlighter. So I don't know if they were just trying to appeal to all different skin types. For me and somebody who wants to use every product in the palette, I just don't think I could, so for that reason, again, I wouldn't be purchasing this. Okay, next up is from Smashbox. So Smashbox, I think this is a recent launch. It's their Be Legendary Matte Lipstick Palette. And you get 25 basically lipsticks in the pan form in this palette. So you are getting a lot, but I hate using lipsticks in a palette. I just never reach for them. I can't physically put it in my bag and reapply it. It just isn't practical for me. I'm somebody who likes to travel with my lip product and touch up. This obviously isn't that type of an item. You know, you would have to travel with the whole palette, and I find a lot of times that it gets really dirty and messy. So even though all these lipsticks are in a lipstick palette, I feel like they kind of get really gunky and dirty and just not sanitary in my opinion. So for that reason, I just and altogether stay away from lip palettes. And also, it is a $75 palette, so it's really expensive. The only reason I would see somebody purchasing this is if you're like a makeup artist and you needed this for your kit. I think that'd be awesome, but other than that, I just don't think this is a practical purchase for, you know, your average person who applies makeup. I really just don't see most people buying this unless you again were a makeup artist. Okay, so this next item is actually what made me want to film this video for you guys, because I had saw this product and I was super excited, and then I watched some reviews and I was like, awful, no, definitely not buying this. It is the Too Faced Glitter Bomb eyeshadow collection. It's basically a palette that has a white and black eyeshadow, and the idea or concept is you're supposed to apply one of those colors and then put one of the glittery eyeshadows on top. And from what I've seen, they are very sheer glitter eyeshadows. Are not very pigmented. It's basically just a bunch of glitter, so I imagine it's gonna fall out, and just the concept in the white and black is just very weird to me. I don't foresee myself doing that. I feel like if I bought that palette, I wouldn't be using the white or black. I would probably just be using the glitters, because the glitters are not pigmented where I thought they would be. I just really don't think it's worth the money. Okay, the next thing is from the new brand at Sephora called Pretty Vulgar, and it's one of their eyeshadow palettes. The one in particular that I'm talking about is the Pretty Birdie palette. You guys will see the picture right here. So pretty much this palette has a lot more colors in it. It does have a couple of neutral colors, so you could create an everyday look. Overall, looking at this palette, I feel like the choice of colors that they included was just very poor. I feel like a lot of the colors don't go very well together, and they're just not practical colors, like especially the two shades that look like cotton candy. I just really can't foresee myself wearing that. I feel like that pink is just the wrong shade of pink for the eyes, and altogether I just don't think like it's a cohesive palette. I've also seen a couple of swatches and I heard that they aren't the best quality, and it is a $35 palette, so that isn't a poor price by any means. But I definitely would be expecting more if I was gonna spend that much money. The packaging is super cute. I feel like you'd just be buying it for the packaging. But again, just the selection of colors in here is very weird to me. So for that reason, I will definitely not be purchasing that. All right, next up guys, we've got the Becca and Chrissy Teigen palette. So as I'm sure you've heard, Chrissy Teigen and Becca collaborated and created this really pretty palette that has two highlighters, a blush, and a bronzer if I'm not mistaken. It looks really pretty. The only reason guys that I really don't foresee myself buying this palette, and what really upset me because I kind of did want this, is the fact that the two highlighter shades are very similar in tone. I just don't understand why they included two colors that are so similar to each other. If you're going to be spending $46, you definitely want a variety. I really wish that they included more of like a pinky tone one and more of like a champagne colored one or golden one. The other thing I really don't understand is the pan size. So the two highlighters in the palette are the bigger pans, and then the bronzer and blush are pretty small size pans. And personally, I would probably be using the blush and bronzer more and more generously, so I would have preferred that those were the bigger size pans than the highlighters. Highlighters tend to last a little bit longer, and you're not using as much product most likely, so I really don't understand that concept, and I think it'd be really awkward to dip into that bronzer with like a small brush. I just don't think it would apply very nicely. I feel like the layout was pretty poor with this palette. I definitely won't be purchasing it. And then last but not least, I'm going to talk about the Anastasia Glow Kit. It's the Aurora Glow Kit. It basically has some of the, you know, unicorn looking colors in it, and personally I like highlighting. I think it's so fun just to kind of add a nice sheen glow to the cheekbones, but I don't want to have a blue glow. I definitely don't want to have a purple glow. I know that the unicorn trend is super popular right now, and I understand them why they came out with this because it is super trendy, but in practicality I definitely would not be using that on my face, and if I did I would be very embarrassed. I feel like, I mean, if you're super artsy and you feel like you could pull it off, then by all means that's awesome, but I just think for everyday it's not practical. But for me, the color scheme in this palette just isn't practical, so for that reason I definitely wouldn't purchase it. Okay, and then I actually have one more to share with you guys. So this is the new Urban Decay Heat Naked palette, and I know there's a lot of controversy over this palette because of the whole initial swatch picture or whatever. Supposedly the swatches were very sheer and not good quality, but I have watched reviews and I've seen people create really pretty looks using the palette. It seems like the quality is fairly good, you know, what is to be expected from the Naked palettes. I do have 2 of the Naked palettes and I love them dearly. I think they're amazing. But personally, I'm more of a cool toned eyeshadow type of gal, and I just feel like the palette itself isn't something we haven't seen before. I mean, looking at it, it kind of gives me, you know, some modern renaissance type of vibes. My Morphe 35O definitely has a lot of these shades. I just feel like Urban Decay was kind of late when it came to bringing out a warm toned palette, and I feel like people aren't that interested anymore in buying just a warm tone palette because we already have so many of them. So yeah, I just don't see myself buying it. Alright guys, so that finishes this anti-haul video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down below any other products that you plan on not purchasing and let me know why. If you guys would like to see another one of these videos, let me know and I will definitely film one in the future. And as always, make sure to subscribe and give this video a big thumbs up. It means the world to me, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!